W261AX, Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Vicki Barker. Commuter chaos looms in New York after Long Island Railroad workers walk off the job.
We want a contract. We want something that's fair and equitable to be able to live here on Long Island and support our families.
Some 270,000 commuters take the LIRR each weekday. Even on Saturday, baseball fans had a tough time getting to City Stadium.
Bumper to bumper, it was like a parking lot.
I heard my neighbor earlier. He's just like, yeah, I'm giving up my tickets for Sunday because it's not worth driving.
After becoming the first challenger from either party since 2012 to defeat an incumbent senator in a primary, Louisiana Republican Julia Letlow greeted supporters.
I want to say thank you to a very special man who you all know, the best president this country has ever had, President Donald Trump.
Letlow now faces State Treasurer John Fleming in a runoff. President Trump had branded Cassidy a traitor for his 2021 vote to impeach him over the January 6th riot. Here's how Cassidy reacted to his loss.
I've had the privilege of representing the state of Louisiana for 12 years. I've been able to participate in democracy. When you participate in democracy, sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you want it to. But you don't pout, you don't whine, you don't claim the election was stolen. You don't find a reason why. You don't manufacture some excuse. You thank the voters for the privilege of representing the state or the country for as long as you've had that privilege. And that's what I'm doing right now.
With the U.S. continuing to blockade Cuba and that communist nation facing catastrophic fuel shortages, former Secretary of Defense Robert Gates tells CBS's Face the Nation he fears a mass exodus of Cubans bound for the U.S.
The biggest risk is that we end up with another Mariel evacuation from Cuba that has tens of thousands of Cubans heading to the United States out of desperation, as happened a number of years ago. So I think that's actually, at this point, the biggest threat.
The second leg of America's Triple Crown of thoroughbred racing is history.
At the Preakness, Larry Kalmus had the call for NBC Sports of the exciting finish.
Napoleon Solo still there. Iron Honor on the outside. Cannot get him. Napoleon Solo and Paco Lopez have won the Preakness. They win it by a length over Iron Honor.
An 8-1 morning favorite, Napoleon Solo took a $2 million purse for the 151st Preakness.
CBS's Michael Toscano reporting. Next up, the Belmont Stakes. This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong?
I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GO to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code GO to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GO to borrow up to $10,000.
Two major retailers are going head-to-head in a delivery war.
There's a huge battle going on between Walmart and Amazon, who are racing to snap up customers in small cities and towns across the nation. That is a rich, underserved market for whichever company gets the biggest base of online shoppers. Morgan Stanley estimates that could be worth up to $1 trillion in annual sales. This comes as remote workers are pouring into places on the outside of big cities. Plus, FedEx, UPS, and the U.S. Postal Service are cutting back deliveries deliveries to some smaller places, kicking off a massive turf war between the two big retailers. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
And finally, official documents filed in the UK revealed just how much Prince William and wife Kate are paying to live in their new mansion in the grounds of Windsor Castle. $400,000 a year, more than $33,000 a month. Optics are all here after it was revealed former Prince Andrew lived virtually rent-free in his mansion until his eviction earlier this year.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BLING to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BLING for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BLING for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings a mix of sun and clouds with a thunderstorm in a couple of spots, mainly south of the city, with a high of 84, leading to a partly cloudy night tonight and a low of 62. The warmth kicks in starting tomorrow with plenty of sun. Expect a high of 90, near the record of 91, with some sun on Tuesday, perhaps an afternoon thunderstorm, high 88. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Rob Fracks on the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
He's back. Aaron Rodgers has decided to run it back in 2026 in multiple ways. Rodgers will reportedly reunite with the Pittsburgh Steelers for the 2026 NFL season, according to multiple reports. The one-year contract reportedly includes $22 million guaranteed and is worth up to $25 million in incentives. Look, this is good news for Steeler Nation. Let me explain. And coming up later today on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show after local news at 11, some special guests will stop by, people in the know, to give us their thoughts on Rodgers coming back. You got two young quarterbacks, Drew Aller and Will Howard, who will eventually go head-to-head to see who will be the quarterback in waiting, unless the Steelers fall flat this year with Rodgers back at the helm in his neighborhood, and they get an opportunity to draft one of the top quarterbacks coming in 2027. One happens to be of the Manning name, as in Arch Manning of Texas. But that's really putting the cart before the horse. We have a long way to go. But what this will do, it will give the Steelers a legitimate chance to compete in the AFC North. Obviously, Joe Burrow is healthy again. Lamar Jackson is in the midst of a situation, it's win or go home, because after this year, I believe he may actually return to his beloved hometown of Miami, even though Malik Willis seems to be the quarterback in waiting for the Dolphins, because in 2027, the salary cap hit that Baltimore would have to take to keep him in the building will be astronomical. So, all in all, when you look at the AFC North now and in the future is bright for the Steelers with Drew Aller and Will Howard, and giving them an opportunity to sit back and learn from a four-time MVP, Super Bowl winning quarterback who's got a football IQ that's off the charts is a great thing. The Steelers really win here, and I know people make a whole lot about his age, soon to be 43 during the season, but Aaron Rodgers is all in on taking care of his body. He may not be as fast as he once was, and he may not be able to throw the deep ball as he once did, but he finds a way to get it done. And now that the Steelers have also added one more piece to their offense in Michael Pittman Jr., he will have two wide receivers that are big, strong, and definitely able to do something after the catch with the football. So, Steeler Nation, you should embrace this today and be happy because Aaron Rodgers, we have an opportunity to witness his greatness one more time. And also with Mike McCarthy, his former coach, the sky could be the limit. We'll talk about it today after local news at 11 in depth on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. Cuba, the grid is collapsing. The situation is growing more dire, according to experts. Prolonged power outages, both scheduled and unscheduled, have been occurring daily across the island, including in the capital city of Havana, according to U.S. officials. The outages are impacting water supply, lighting, refrigeration, and communications. This is bad. And look, I know we're not supposed to take care of the world. We need to take care of people here because we are dealing with a whole lot of issues when it comes to people who just need a helping hand. But the thing that made America great the first time, not only the land of opportunity, but a land that always took time to give someone else an opportunity, to lift them up and to give them hope. It's the real reason I want us to win all out in Iran, because of what that regime has been doing to their own people for many years. Why I want the president's trip recently to China to be successful, because of what that government has been doing to the billions of citizens of the country of China. And Venezuela, the reason why I wanted the president to follow through there and remove that regime, because the people of Venezuela have been suffering, as they have been in Cuba for years, going back to Fidel Castro. They have been under the thumb of that regime, if you will, / government since the 50s. But now we have a chance to basically give them an opportunity by hopefully finding a way to change the power play in that country that has been in place since the 50s and give those people an opportunity to enjoy all of the great things that that part of the world has to offer. And being that they are so close to the United States of America, why not add another partner? They have a lot to give, not just when it comes to agriculture, but to tourism too. And let them get out of the Stone Age and get caught up and get into the speed of things in this century and give them a chance to have capitalism work for them. One thing I think that a lot of people don't realize, these power outages and all of the things that they're going through because of their energy grid, unless we start figuring ways to turn things around in America, a lot of those headlines could be making news right here. That is why now, with the ability to get the natural gas that we could ship off to Venezuela, that we could ship off to Cuba, that we could ship off to China, that we could ship off to places in the Middle East who need more than just oil to power their nation. This could be such a turnaround in global history, but also for the peace of humanity, the safety of humanity, and a global economy that actually works for everyone. A lot of interesting things. You know, it's amazing to me how all of a sudden this Aaron Rodgers story has become the story once again. I mean, I even said to myself, if and when he comes back, it won't be such a big deal. People will take it and they'll just simply move on. But as you can see, it is the story, so much so, even though the Pirates are locked into a really good season, even though they were beaten yesterday, my sportscast is coming up in a matter of moments. The lead, Aaron Rodgers. Because you see, football is the lead. Always. But in Steeler Nation, nothing comes close. So many of you, and I'll talk about this later today, one of my guests, longtime football guru Joe Butler, Metro Index, he'll be joining us at 12:30 to break it all down, to talk about what he brings, the pros and cons to the Steelers. But I think Joe agrees as I do. It's about the leadership. It's about the guidance. It's not so much about taking the Steelers to the promised land. That would be great. But giving Drew Aller and Will Howard a chance to compete. That is what I'm excited about. And we may see some of their talent as this season rolls on, depending what happens to this football team. So all in all, it's a big story. And I think it's going to give Steeler fans something to really cheer about. But we'll talk more about it today on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. As always, you can listen to us at 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA or on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. You can watch us with our KDK video stream presented by Metropolitan Window Company. Just go to kdkradio.com and click on Watch KDK Radio Livestream. Or now you can just go to our KDK Radio YouTube page and see everything we're doing in the studio. And reminding everyone, if you know someone in your community who's done something extraordinary in the past year, nominate them now, kdkradio.com, to be honored at this year's Larry's Hometown Heroes event. NASCO Roofing, instant access to our shows, just a click away. Email us at instantacces@kdkradio.com. Time to go to the phones. Let's talk. 866-391-1020. Aaron Rodgers, Cuba, the war in Iran, whatever's on your mind. We'd love to hear from you right now up until 6 o'clock. Good morning.
News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
News Radio KDKA Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve you a Pittsburgh tradition. Big story, Aaron Rodgers set to return to Pittsburgh on a 1-year deal that could be worth as much with incentives, $25 million. Bucks lose again to the Phillies, 6-0. Paul Skeens on the hill today, 1:35 first pitch, PNC Park, 93.7 The Fan. Napoleon Solo wins the 151st Preakness Stakes. Buffalo roars back to force a Game 7 in their series against Montreal. They were 8-3 winners last night. And it's an epic Game 7 today on the hardwood between Detroit and Cleveland. Alex Smalley. Maverick McNeely hold a share of the lead at 4 under overall after 54 holes at the PGA Championship. And Ronda Rousey submits Gina Canaro by an armbar in 17 seconds in UFC action last night. More sports, 93.7thefan.com.
Hey folks, my friends at NASCO Roofing take pride in exceeding customer expectations. Joe from Pittsburgh loved the excellent work NASCO did on replacing his roof and gutters. It was a big job that NASCO completed in just 2 days with excellent attention to every detail. Joe was also impressed with NASCO's cleanup that left his home spotless. NASCO has thousands of customers that are satisfied like Joe. Get NASCO on your roof. Call NASCO 412-373-2000. 412-373-2000. Special financing available. NASCO Roofing. NASCO.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty, that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Pittsburgh, we've got a problem. Home care is in crisis and there aren't enough caregivers to meet the demand. So if you've got a loved one with Medicaid and needs care, don't wait. Freedom Care was built for this moment. We help you get care at home from someone you already trust, a family member or friend who can get paid to help with everyday needs like meals, medication, bathing, and mobility. If you have Medicaid, it's 100% free to you. No waiting lists, just real care from your people right now. Freedom Care handles it all, training, payroll, and support, so you can stay safe and comfortable at home, and your caregiver gets paid after every shift guaranteed. With 97% satisfaction and over 150 million hours of care delivered, Pittsburgh families are already making the switch to care at home. Take care of your own and get paid with Freedom Care. Call 412-844-5990. That's 412-844-5990. Call now, 412-844-5990. 412-844-5990.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Join Beth Andrews for the Net Worth Financial Hour Saturdays at 1 to get the news and information you need to make your retirement dream a reality. That's the Net Worth Financial Hour with Beth Andrews, Saturdays at 1. Net Worth Advisors, LLC is a registered investment advisor.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Everything you need, every time you listen. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Let me do the deep dive on why some of these headlines are starting to really hit home. You know, Cuba is not that far from the U.S. shore, as we all know, especially during the years of those flotillas when people were risking their life just to get away from Fidel Castro. And now the United States is going to go after Raul Castro, 94 years of age, because of things that he did decades ago. President understands the more the merrier. We need to find a way to get capitalism working in parts of the world that we basically started their business matrix, and then it was taken away by some sort of dictator or some sort of regime that overthrew the government. It happened with Castro. It happened in Venezuela. Now, Castro, it happened back in the 50s. And honestly, when I think about Castro and what he was able to do and how he had such power, especially during the Bay of Pigs incident, in which they were talking about bringing missiles here, meaning Russia, and the president at the time, JFK, made them turn around, it's still hard to believe that Fidel Castro remained in power as long as he did. You know, the thing in Cuba, just to give you an idea how far really they are lost in that part of the world, I do know people that have actually gone there. They opened up a very short window in the final few years of Fidel Castro's power before he passed away. The tourism, people could actually come there. And they did. And one of the things that people would tell me when they returned back to the States, that their automobiles were basically from the 50s and 60s. There haven't been any new automobiles in that part of the world since Castro, took over. After the first couple years, they stopped bringing in vehicles. Now, because of the weather conditions, they actually filmed one of the Fast and Furious movies down there. Because of the weather conditions, up here we get salt and from the snow on the roads and the cinders and the ashes, and it can destroy cars. Not as like it did in the 60s, because cars are being made so much better now, right? But down there, these cars are pristine, and they have to make do by keeping those engines running because it's the only means of transportation. But they're not too far from our country, and it's just a shame that the people literally have been kept in the dark for all these years. And what's even more staggering is the fact that they are almost going to be left in the dark. I started hearing about this a couple of weeks ago, that the energy grid already was suffering to the point where they were basically losing power. And parts of the city, Havana, have already gone dark. And you're talking refrigeration, you're talking lighting, you're talking about things that are survival. And you know as well as I do what happens when people get desperate and certain comforts get taken from them, things we all take for granted. I mean, how many of you sit at home and complain to the power company when you've lost power for more than a couple of hours? We've all been there. It's agonizing, right? I was just talking yesterday on the True Value Show about this surge in getting generators. I mean, if I wasn't so cheap, I'd probably get one too. But I'm just saying, people are really thinking about what's happening with the power grid in America. And if we don't get our act together, the headline that I just gave you about Cuba will be a part of the United States. The infrastructure in this country is collapsing. Do you understand that certain roads and bridges that we talk about all the time that are being taken out, replaced, repaired, is because they have ran the course. They have no more life left. We have pushed the envelope for so many years with things that need to be fixed. I mean, the great Bill Gates in that analytical mind has said we need to rewire this country north, south, east, and west over the next 50 years, or we will go dark. Everybody's concerned about these data centers. I mean, that's all I've been hearing about, either on the air during my evening show or when I'm out and about. But I've discussed this with so many people that understand AI, artificial intelligence, people in the building trades. Audrey Russo, the Pittsburgh Technology Council that you hear every Sunday, Tech Vibe Radio. We need this stuff. They're going to build them somewhere else, and they already are. So if we can add to the business matrix, if we can add jobs, give people work to where cash flow continues to be constant, and we can actually find a way to power off of AI and these data centers, our energy grid, or to make it easier so maybe we don't have to do rewiring as we did it 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, flip a switch and find some sort of alternative power. And when I think of all of the natural gas and the things that are there for us to reap the benefits of, and we're not doing anything, shame on us. Shame on us. I actually feel bad for the people of Venezuela. I feel bad for the people of Cuba. I feel bad for the people of Iran. And I feel horrible for the people of Ukraine. And I do the people of Russia that don't want to be in that war. This is Vladimir Putin's war. And they are too burying their own. But I feel bad for the homeless in this country, the families that are going to bed hungry every night. And all we do is complain about this and complain about that when we have an opportunity to take this country by storm by doing things, inventing. I mean, think about all the things that we talk about in the world of technology, from Microsoft to Apple to Google to Facebook and Meta, X, all of it here, SpaceX, Tesla, these electric vehicles right now, even with the price of gasoline where it is, as much as $6.30 in California, you can go to a Tesla dealership and buy a vehicle and simply plug it in. You're good to go. You can actually not put off that coast-to-coast 2-week summer vacation from east to west that many people still do to this day. It's an annual pilgrimage because they want to see the largest ball of yarn. They want to take the old Route 66. People and families are right now planning those trips, and they're saying, what do we do? Many folks have gone out and got a Tesla. Hey, if I wasn't so cheap, I'd get one too. If I was 25 years younger, I'd get one too. Because this is where we're headed. This is where we're heading in America. Look, combustible engines will always be a part of who we are. We need them for the horsepower. But we also have to face reality that if we don't straighten this grid around, even electric vehicles aren't going to be helping anyone anytime soon. I mean, when you hear of all of the power outages we have, especially during the storm season, people right away want to blame, the people who do that, meaning the public utility commissions. It's not their fault. And the people that are part of the power companies, it's not their fault. It's because we have not given enough for the infrastructure to be repaired. I remember when we were still downtown working on the air decades ago. It's been forever. I think at least 2009, something like that, right? So close to 2 decades. We were talking about one of the things that had to be done is the entire energy grid under the city of Pittsburgh had to be redone. We're no closer to doing that now than we were then. And the funds, we're hurting right now. Not blaming anyone, but the bottom line is the city of Pittsburgh's got to find a way to churn revenue. And I still believe the only way you churn revenue is by going back to the basics. What made Pittsburgh great again? And that's why we've got to capitalize on this Nippon U.S. Steel deal. We've got to be all in on that. We've got to promote that aspect of Pittsburgh. We've got to promote the natural gas industry of Pittsburgh. Westinghouse, that brand, that name, and nuclear energy. We've got to promote that. And we have the incredible building trades, the carpenters, electricians, plumbers, people and men and women who are ready to go to work with tool belt in hand. We have to get off the bench and get into the game. I mean, read the story. I was reading ABC News and NBC and CBS long before I got to the station today. And that story just kept jumping out and jumping out and jumping out. And I kept thinking, there are people right now in the dark in Cuba. So what happens? As I said, people get desperate. They start looting. They start hurting. They start stealing. They start killing. I mean, food is still one of the most important commodities anywhere. And if you can't keep it fresh and safe, and if you can't see to eat it, do you understand what happens when a city has a blackout? I remember growing up back in the day when New York went through a blackout. All I kept hearing about was the crime that was being committed. Because you want to think people take the high road, but they don't. People do not take the high road. They will do anything, even as unscrupulous as steal from their own family when the lights go out, and they need to eat. So what I'm telling you, look at the headline about Cuba. Look at the headline about what's going on in Iran. Look at the headline every single day, what's been going on for years in Ukraine. And understand, unless we start turning things around, these are the headlines that we're going to see in America. And sadly, many of us, but especially my children and yours, if you're a baby boomer, and grandchildren, are never going to be able to climb out because we're not going to have the resources or the energy to build a brighter future. Now's the time. We need to go get that natural gas. We need more petrochemical plants. We need to embrace names like Shell and Exxon and BP. We need to be basically offering the olive branch saying, come one, come all. We cannot afford to let any industry slip through our fingers. And anything that's going to power the grid Now's the time. It can happen with wind. It can happen with solar. Those green energy deals, we don't have the green to do those deals, meaning money. We're $38 trillion in debt. And with what the president's doing, Cuba, resources, Venezuela, resources, Iran, resources, he could give people the safety they need, the citizenship of these countries, but also with the global economy and a deal that's good for both sides, he could rejuvenate America like we haven't seen in a half a century. 866-391-1020. Your calls are next.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hearing the news every day is one thing. Hearing it hit home is something altogether different. That's the difference you hear every day on KDKA Radio. We go beyond the benign headlines and bring the news to life, your life. So stay here and hear the news and what a difference it makes. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. Nightmare for New York commuters as Long Island Railroad workers walk off the job.
We want a contract. We want something that's fair and equitable to be able to live here on Long Island and support our families.
Baseball fans were already having a tough time reaching City Stadium yesterday.
Bumper to bumper, it was like a parking lot. I heard my neighbor earlier. He's just like, yeah, I'm giving up my tickets for Sunday because it's not worth driving.
After being defeated in Louisiana's Republican primary, here's how two-term Senator Bill Cassidy took his loss. Cassidy was saying that without naming names, he was not going to assert that his election had been stolen. President Trump had branded Cassidy a traitor for his 2021 vote to impeach him over the January 6th riot. And at the second leg of thoroughbred racing's Triple Crown, Napoleon Solo has won the 151st Preakness Stakes. Next stop, Belmont. CBS News Brief. I'm Vicki Barker.
Some third-party vacation rental sites charge fees just for booking through their platform. On a full week stay, those fees can add up fast. On one real 7-night stay, a guest could have saved about $2,800 just by booking direct with SWAC Vacations. That's roughly the cost of a new washer and dryer. Money you could have saved and put in your pocket just by skipping the middleman. Compare direct pricing first at swacvacations.com. SWAC Vacations. Same stay, less fees.
Get connected. That's the Inside Connection this Saturday morning at 9 with your local Medicare experts from MediConnect. If you're turning 65, hear all the inside information available to seniors on the Inside Connection, presented by MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Any thunderstorm today looks to be most likely to the south of the city. Otherwise, expect sun and clouds with a warmer day, the high 84, followed by a partly cloudy night tonight and a low of 62, with more sunshine and warmth in store for tomorrow, the high 90. Tuesday brings sun at times, another warm day with a spotty afternoon thunderstorm, high 88. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Hi, this is Larry Richard. Join us Monday in the Big K Morning Show, 5:30 until 10. Another big thing coming to Pittsburgh. We'll tell you about it first thing Monday.
Yeah, we'll be back on the evening show this week as well, and we're going to get ready for the primary election on Tuesday. I know it's not the steak that sizzles when it comes to elections, but it's still very important, so you got to get out and vote. And I do hope that someday we have open primaries. And let me just say this. I think the only way that the whole election process becomes more of that steak that sizzles to where people want to buy in is that we get more young people involved for running for office. And that's why I believe 2028, Josh Shapiro is the best choice for the Democratic Party. But why do I bring his name up when that's years away and he's going to be in the midst of his own reelection bid against Stacey Garrity? Because this could be a great opportunity for him and Stacey Garrity to promote what this region needs. We need to get back to building, manufacturing, structures, Millgate, Main Street. But it's different now, like these data centers. It's different. And in the end, those data centers will help with utility cost. And when you have people that are able to actually go to work and have some downtime and money in their pocket, it's a game changer. It's an attitude changer. Look, when the mills were booming, okay, and everybody lived in a row house along Main Street, then went to a ranch house in the suburbs, there was no violent crime. There was no drug issues. There was no divorce rate. There was nobody ever complaining about the price of groceries, which I still think is ridiculous. Make a list, check it once, check it twice, rip some coupons out of the Sunday paper and forget about it. Make it work. Get canned goods as opposed to, that filet mignon. Do something a little bit different. Google certain recipes. It's fun, but I'm tired of them saying that. It just frustrates me. But back when the mills were booming and manufacturing was here, nobody complained about that. We didn't have storms that the electricity was out for days, sometimes weeks. We didn't have potholes that you could lose your entire chassis in. Come on. And people were driving around with chains on their tires back then. There was money. Every municipality, township, borough had road departments and crews, and they took care of things. I mean, thank goodness we still have PennDOT, because some of these roads would never get cleared because these communities have lost their tax base. Many of these communities are out of salt before the first snow really falls. I mean, and then many of them, when they're preparing out of season for the next season, they start writing smaller checks because they don't buy as much because they don't have as much to be able to buy it. Look, I grew up in a place called Dougherty Township, which is like a little ink spot on the map of Pennsylvania. But, man, we never went without. The roads were always clear. Homes were always pristine. Lawns were cut. There was no trash on the streets. There was no crime on the streets. You could pedal your bicycle at midnight on a hot summer night. Look, it's going to be 90 degrees Monday. If it would be like that on Memorial Day, Sunday to Monday, when I was growing up, we'd have been sleeping out. We'd have been roaming the neighborhood. There was no trouble. Nobody got into trouble. And everybody celebrated Memorial Day. They went to the parade downtown. They had picnics because they had money. And you'd see people at church services. You'd see people at the grocery store. Look, I go out now. I'm in the grocery store almost every day because of my relationship with Coons. I see a lot of people, but I don't see people from the old neighborhood. When I go to church, I don't see people from the old neighborhood. Walk through the mall. I don't see people from the old neighborhood. I don't run into former classmates, ex-girlfriends. I don't run into anything. You would swear that I'm in the twilight zone. And maybe I am. But at this age, who cares? All right. I fought the fight. Can't do anything else. No more mountains to climb. Can't punch back anymore. So do what you got to do. Okay? Live it, live it, live it. That's all I do every day. But I don't run into anybody. I mean, you'd think you'd run into someone. You run into nobody. You know why? Because most people aren't even going out to do what they need to do anymore. They're clicking on with the mouse. Amazon shows up. Curbside delivery. DoorDash. We've become hermetically sealed in our own homes. And I think a lot of you don't realize how bad it is out there as far as our foundation. Not just that brick and mortar, roads and bridges, but the human element, the moral compass that I talk about all the time. And it's so bad that a lot of people don't go out because they don't want to deal with it. I mean, the road rage. There's not a day that I'm driving to work in the morning or night, somebody's not up on my bumper. I mean, somebody's not up on my bumper, or somebody you can just tell is agitated. It's because everybody's in a hurry to go somewhere, but they really have nowhere to go. I mean, remember the conversations after church on a Sunday with the Pittsburgh Press or Post-Gazette under your arm? You'd be tugging your parents like coat saying, can we go? Can we go? That doesn't happen anymore. the local bar in the neighborhood that you would go watch a Pirate game. There's little river communities. If you don't get there by 7 o'clock, you're not getting there. They're done. They close up. People, basically since the pandemic, they drink at home as far as socializing. They watch their sports. They listen to the radio. They're cooking at home, which is a great thing. They don't leave their house. I haven't seen certain neighbors for months. Never happened. I drive through where I used to live. There's nobody out, ever. I'm telling you, we are not headed in the right direction. That's why this governor's race, somebody's got to bring up early and often, what about manufacturing? What are you going to do to play off of the success of Nippon U.S. Steel? What are you going to do with this nuclear energy situation with Westinghouse right here in our backyard, building these pristine nuclear power plants? What are you going to do with the natural gas that we're standing on? When are we going to get another Shell petrochemical plant with BP or Exxon? Get over it. Embrace this stuff. This is all we have. Without this, we are done. Without this, we are done. I'm telling you, if we do not start turning things around, we will be the headline that I read to begin this program that Cuba's going through. Mark my words. All right, first alert forecast. Here she is, Mary Hours. I can tell you this, it's going to be a warm one tomorrow, is it not, Mary?
It is a possible record high. So 91 is the record back in 1962. So we're getting close to 90. I mean, we could touch 90 degrees, so tying or getting at least really close to that record. But every time we forecast temperatures near 90, I'm like, whether it's 88, 89, 90, or 91, it all feels the same to me.
It is.
It's hot.
I actually like the heat, so bring the heat. Looking forward to it. So have we really been pretty much status quo as far as weather to date?
We're actually, we've been up and down, honestly. So we're seeing temperatures, at least for the month, I think we're still below average for our temperatures just because we had, we started off into the 50s for our highs for the month. So now we're still about 6.5 degrees below average. But once we get these 80s and 90s in here for a couple of days, it'll start to even out. But the trend as we head into the end of the month is still slightly above average. So normally this time of the year, we should be into the low 70s. So, we're not far off. Like yesterday was a seasonable day and low 70s. So, it's always crazy for spring here.
So what's your summer plans? Do you have any plans yet? Have you planned a vacation yet?
We're not doing anything this summer, but we're going to Disney for the first time in October for Halloween. So that's going to be our big trip. And I've never been. My kids have never been.
You're gonna absolutely love it. That place is truly magical. Really.
I know. We're so excited.
And your kids were, I guess my kids were, how old were Eva was 5 and Robbie was probably 7. So your kids are
this is my same age as mine.
Yeah, so I was kind of on point, and they absolutely loved it. I'm going to tell you something you're going to enjoy. So I'll tell you a quick story. So my daughter Eva and I took a dip in the pool because it was the first night we were there, and she was just a little thing, and she wanted to see Cinderella's castle. So I got out some big coin, and I'm tipping this cab driver, and I go into the 7-Eleven, buy all these goodies, and I got her wrapped in a big beach towel, and we're in the back of this cab, and the meter's running, but I don't care. We finally get to the castle, and I look up, and there it is in all of its glory, and I said, Eva, look. And she was sound asleep in my arms. So I sat there and basically cried like a 5-year-old myself. But it was such a magical moment, and she's now going to be 25 in July, and I miss her. She's grown, doing her own thing. But whenever anybody mentions Disney, even though she didn't get to experience, I took her the next day. It's one of the most fond memories that I have of Disney. There's so much just joy there. And the folks at Disney go above and beyond to take care of people, so you're going to love it.
Yeah, I want to see it through their eyes,
You will. You will.
There.
And they will be so happy. It'll be such a joyful experience. Okay, so 88 or so on Tuesday, and then it cools off a little bit on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Tuesday the record is 93. I think back in 1877 we could touch 90, but I still have us at 89 degrees. It's still going to be hot, and then we do see rain moving in late Tuesday night. So our temperatures on Wednesday, we're still into those upper 70s, and then we're back to seasonable temperatures, partly cloudy on Thursday. And then Friday looks pretty decent in those low 70s, but then we start to see the chance of showers creep back in for the weekend.
All right. Well, listen, have a great rest of your day, and we will do it again, okay?
Awesome. Sounds good.
There she goes, Mary Hours, first alert forecast. You know, she's a heck of a performer, too. I heard her sing. I've heard her sing the national anthem, okay? A lot of my friends have done that. I remember when Taylor Swift did it back in 2006 with the Steelers. So I've seen it, but I saw her do some acoustic stuff one day online. I was just scrolling. I was blown away. I've been around a lot of musicians in my life, but, man, she can really sing. All right, we'll come back. One more segment before we wrap up our open talk and then get into Tech Vibe Radio, Catholic Education Plus, and then 7 o'clock it'll be Doug, and then Frank, the Coons Cooking Hour. 9 o'clock, we're talking to Carlos, Greater Pitt Tree Service. And then at 10, Accurate Solutions. Then a big day on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show, including the big story. Aaron Rodgers has signed a 1-year deal.
Every Tuesday morning at 7:20, listen for Inside Independence Health, a look at all things healthcare with the experts from Independence Health System. It's brought to you by Independence Health System. Expert care here.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve you a Pittsburgh tradition. Big story, Aaron Rodgers set to return to Pittsburgh on a 1-year deal that could be worth as much with incentives, $25 million. Bucks lose again to the Phillies, 6-0. Paul Skeens on the hill today, 1:35 first pitch, PNC Park, 93.7 The Fan. Napoleon Solo wins the 151st Preakness Stakes. Buffalo roars back to force a Game 7 in their series against Montreal. They were 8-3 winners last night. And it's an epic Game 7 today on the hardwood between Detroit and Cleveland. Alex Smalley. Maverick McNeely hold a share of the lead at 4 under overall after 54 holes at the PGA Championship. And Ronda Rousey submits Gina Canaro by an armbar in 17 seconds in UFC action last night. More sports, 937thefan.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-910-2233. That's 800-910-2233. 800-910-2233.
Where Pittsburgh comes to talk. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
You know, one of the things that all politicians should be promoting is workforce. And I'm not talking meds and eds and college graduates. That'll always be a strong part of our society because that's been the American dream. And that's what people who came here with the dream through Ellis Island, people who were born in this country, who worked hard their whole life. They wanted to give their children a chance to get the degree, and rightfully so, and that'll never stop. But we do need more teachers. We need more people spending time in that as far as public education is concerned. But we need to be talking about young men and women becoming carpenters, electricians, and plumbers, going to work in that industry, meaning the building trades, because if we are to survive, it's the only way we survive to our 300th birthday. And I hope many of you, as we get to 250, will take time to reflect on what got us here and how we've been able to really survive the test of time. Think about over the last 250 what we've gone through. The 20th and now this century. World War I, World War II, a depression, the Vietnam War, the loss of our manufacturing base. And I've said it before. At one time, we had over 250,000 steel workers right here in this place we call home. And now that number, probably about 40,000. The coal industry, how many workers? Incredible number. That's probably 25% of what it once was. But we have an opportunity to generate new jobs in the natural gas industry. And because of these data centers, we're going to have an opportunity to do things that we've never been able to do. Do you understand when Meta signs on that dotted line for 20 years in the Beaver Valley, do you understand what that's going to mean for the tax base? Do you understand what that's going to mean for like shipping port, industry, and Midland? When they do it in Homer City, in Indiana County, in Springdale, do you understand these data centers, the money it's going to bring in? If not, Homer City, that coal-fired power plant would have sat empty, no money whatsoever. Shipping port, that old, not that old, but old enough that it would have just started to crumble very soon because the maintenance they do on the regular basis in these power plants because of the building trades keeps them pristine year after year, season after season, no matter what they go through. But nobody's been doing anything at Bruce Mansfield for years now. Been sitting idle. I knew a person who was a security guard down there, and he still may be working there, but that's what he was doing when it was up and running, and that's what he did for years up until the last time I saw him. Because, you got to guard that stuff. There's a lot of valuable stuff still within those walls. And now, EQT, going to do some natural gas, Frontiers Group. It's exciting. There's an opportunity to get some cash in this country, something we haven't seen in the longest time. We need to start producing cash flow again. We need to start adding jobs again. And with it, you start adding healthier numbers when it comes to your police force. You have stronger fire departments. You have EMTs you can hire. You have people filling potholes during the spring season. You have crews out taking care of the littlest things that make the biggest difference. And you can create a business matrix within a community. Look, I remember as a kid growing up, in the summertime, a lot of my friends would get a job Doherty Township. We'd get a job throughout Beaver County working for these municipalities, townships, and boroughs, and you'd see them on the back of a truck, putting cinders into holes and then putting down some blacktop or picking up garbage or painting street curbs or, flushing out fire hydrants. They were there every day. That's what they did for the summer. People who went to work for the recreation department, people who were cutting grass at the local cemetery. All of these jobs can be filled because companies will feel comfortable enough of writing paychecks because they'll have money. Don't you realize what's going on in Cuba right now could be a mirror image of the United States if we don't get our act together? There are people waking up in Havana right now thinking, how are we going to power through another day? And look, they don't have a government like we have. Despite being trillions in debt, when the pandemic hit, nobody went without food. Family businesses were getting paychecks. Corporate America was being able to handle certain things, payroll and more, because what the government was doing. The government made people wait less than 2 months to get money. Less than 2 months to get money. And because of our food banks, how grateful we are for the Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, people were able to get substance. They were able to get food. So America is still a fascinating place. But what made us fascinating was the fact that we always had a chance to create. And when we stopped creating in this country and gave everybody else the opportunity to make products that we made, bicycles, toasters, bathroom scales, mixing bowls, washers, dryers, refrigerators, all of that stuff, it was the beginning of the end. And then you start basically isolating yourself from the rest of the world. Look, I can tell you right now, the reason Corey O'Connor has been out promoting the city, he needs corporations to invest. He needs people to come here. He was able with UPMC and PNC to get a really nice chunk of money to help this city, especially when we go through those snowstorms that can be crippling, not just to traffic, but to your coffers. And we're going to get an update on what's happening with the city with Rachel Heisler. She's going to be joining me this week on my show. So I'm looking forward to getting the city controller back on the air. The only way that we make things work in America is by working. It's the only way. And if we don't start working together for one common goal, making this country more solid financially, it's going to be too late. I mean, listen, Cuba's at the point, if they don't get this solved, they're done. I mean, real soon. If it completely flatlines, they'll never be able to resuscitate it. And it will be every person for themselves. I can promise you right now, I don't even doubt this for 1 minute. There are people in Cuba right now praying that the United States comes to Cuba. Just like the people in Iran have been saying, don't leave. Because sadly, what makes us so different from every other world power like Russia and China? We do have an ear. We do listen. We do open our eyes and our thought process, and we know when people are struggling. We know what people need, and we are willing to do whatever. And look, you can say what you want, but look what we've done for Ukraine. And here's the other thing. Once that war comes to an end, I believe Volodymyr Zelensky will not forget what the United States of America did for his country. The money, the weapons, the shoulder to lean on, the opportunities to speak to our Congress. And even though a tense conversation or two with President Trump, President Biden was there. So when they need to start rebuilding that country of 44 million, and it will come to an end. When, I don't know, but it will. I believe there's going to be an opportunity for names like Nippon and U.S. Steel to get opportunities to send product there, workers to grow there. Other parts of our country will be there providing the resources that they need to rebuild, because they're going to have to really go from the ground up. They're going to have to basically put a whole new foundation in that country. Russia, I care there too because of the citizens. I don't blame them for what Putin is doing. The best thing that can happen in Russia is that Putin is out of power. But where they go, I don't know. Because when Mikhail Gorbachev left, it was over. That's why you need strong people who have ideology like the United States, like a Benjamin Netanyahu, thinking like President Trump. Our relationship with Israel has never been more important than it is now. And we're going to have a lot to say about that this week. So just some things to think about. Rob's coming up next with the news. We'll get an hour off, then we'll get right back at it. Until then, it's your Pratt Pack. Thanks for joining me. Still so much more to come all the way until 1 o'clock today, right here on KDKA. Good morning.
While you sleep, there are people you've never met who are working hard to make your morning. People who get up at ungodly hours to make sure you get the information you want. People who dedicate their lives to make yours better while you sleep. These people come together during the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richert, 5:30 to 10 in the morning, to make sure you have the best news, traffic, and weather to start your day. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
I'm with Joe Potocznik, JP Roofing and Siding, with an exciting opportunity.
Normally, Larry, we offer $500 off any complete roofing and siding replacements. For our spring promotion, we're offering an additional $500 off.
Joe, that's $1,000.
That's right, Larry.
You better call today. The roofing experts, JP Roofing and Siding, 412-829-7711, 412-829-7711. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Larry.
Suffering from peripheral neuropathy? Learn how over 15,000 sufferers regained their comfort, mobility, and quality of life with Tri-State Neuropathy Center's successful treatment plan that is FDA cleared, non-invasive, and drug-free. Here's Sean Ritchie, DC, and Tri-State's founder about one of their many satisfied patients.
One thing I've learned about people that get numb with their neuropathy, they have balance issues, just like Bob from Gibsonia. His numbness got so bad, he started to have to shuffle and was starting to have some falls. After completing our FDA-cleared treatment program, he is doing so much better. In fact, he was at his friend's house and he was at the American Legions, and they couldn't believe the difference that they saw in him.
Tri-State Neuropathy Centers help Bob. Let them help you next. Call 724-940-9000 for a free consultation. That's 724-940-9000. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy. Learn more at marydanstin.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
At Habitat for Humanity, we believe home is where you find peace, stability, and safety. But 1 in 3 people on Earth woke up today without a good home. Let's open the door to opportunity. Visit Habitat.org to learn more. That's Habitat.org.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 61 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 6 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. 4 people were shot overnight in Homestead. Allegheny County Police say one adult male was found along 8th Avenue with gunshot wounds to the hand and foot. Then 3 more adult victims appeared at a local hospital with gunshot wounds. One had a wound to the right foot. The other 2 had gunshot wounds to their right arms. All 4 people are said to be in stable condition this morning. It's unclear what time exactly the shooting took place overnight. Incident is under investigation. A man was stabbed multiple times Saturday afternoon in the Hill District. Incident happened around 4:30 Saturday afternoon in the 2300 block of Reed Street. A man was found stabbed in the hand and torso there. That man was taken to the hospital in critical condition. So far, the alleged suspect has not been apprehended, and the incident is under investigation. Well, 3 people are in police custody following a shooting Friday evening in Salt Lake Township. That's in Fayette County. State police say 24-year-old Asher Parkinson of Indian Head, 23-year-old Raymond Fulton of Acme, and 25-year-old Dakota Fulton of Acme are in the Fayette County Jail this morning, charged in connection with the shooting of a person along Hillview Lane, around 6:30 on Friday evening. That victim was taken to the hospital in stable condition. Aaron Rodgers, according to reports, is returning to the Steelers. Reports from ESPN and the NFL Network say the 1-year deal for the 42-year-old quarterback is for 1 year or worth up to $25 million. Rodgers' base salary is reportedly between $22 and $23 million. He would get additional money for incentives that are reached. New contract represents a pay raise over last year when Rodgers